Hello, 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 everyone. Mike Arnold here, co-founder of Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. Nice big sell-off today. We had the Fred, Fred Barken, the Fed's Barken really did the market in with his speech. We'll look at. I wanted to just point something out with the technicals right off the open because I was told you what I was watching for with a break and then a retest. I just want to show you because this is a great example today. A fantastic example. So we'll get to that in a minute. Hey, oh no, John. 4:30 next week, please. Please. Hello. We got some nice red today. Should keep Tom Tom away. That rhymes. We got some nice red today. Should keep Tom Tom away. That's actually pretty funny. Thank you for being here, Amadeus. Good afternoon, Patrick. Barking like a guard dog. Oh, hey, I'm glad it's Friday. I am glad it's Friday. Thank you for that, George. Barking like a guard dog. Bringing it home for the weekend. Yes, that deserves an LOL. We got Amadeus comments. We got George's comments. It's a fine Friday. So S&P map, you see everything. Healthcare, nice little rally with the healthcare. Nice little rally today. Everything else, see a red except for OXY. Very strong. Occidental Petroleum, huge buying going on in there. Huge buying up 9.88%. You know, we got Buffett, the Buffett buys. Fed watch still 57 to 42. So we'll do that. I mean, we're a long way off from that. We're about 4 weeks off from that at this point. So keep that in mind. So what did Barken say? This is why we're a tactical trading market. You got to pay attention to stuff. Quote, the Fed must curb inflation even if this causes a recession. They need to raise rates into restrictive territory. So the big R move, the first person to say, hey, we're going to keep going even if it's a recession. Even if we're tipping it into a recession. And the market said, bah, bah. So that's where we sit. Also, hey, that wedge pattern triggered. Wedge pattern triggered. That's why you got to pay attention. So memes did get wrecked. Well, you know what? People are actually making... All right. All right. All right. I'm seeing people out there, with Best Buy, they're actually making excuses. These diamond hands are making excuses for Cohen. These people deserve to lose all their money. When BBBY goes bankrupt now, or files for complete reorganization, these people making excuses for the guy who pumped and dumped your stock, and now you're going to diamond hands it. You are afraid. I have no sympathy for those idiots, and they are absolute idiots. I feel sorry for the average naive person who got sucked into it and took way more than they should have to go with a vertical up, vertical down, pump and dump. But for the people defending them, you guys deserve to lose everything. Oh, we're going to diamond hands it. It's going back up. Really? Yeah, Buffett got the okay to buy up to 50% of Oxy. So there we go. Hey, Amadeus comment with the thumbs up. Hey, Amadeus, I hope you've decided to subscribe to this channel. Hey, Crazy Friday, straight down, minor bounces. Yeah, that did it all in. So you will get a pause and a pullback in OXI. I would not chase it here. So let's just review this. I want to go over something minor, but you see here on the bigger pattern, we'll go over the setups on Sunday for next week. But daily cycles finally getting closer to the bottom, but not yet at the bottom, closing into the rotation zone. So we should see a bigger pullback, triggering a wedge pattern. So we should see a bigger pullback. Now remember, the wedge targets are rising. So if you take Sunday or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if we just have a more orderly sell-off, we got the rotation zone rising. We got major support coming in at 4150, 4156 area. So now I am targeting more substantial pullbacks. Then I'm going to be watching for a bounce move to gauge the strength. That doesn't mean every day has to pull back, but the bounce move to gauge the strength and to set up for a topping pattern. All right, so that's what I will be keying off of today or for the next few days, especially with Powell speaking next Friday at Jackson Hole. It's not till next Friday. But we have weekly cycles at the top, finally dropping out of overbought. So this could easily get a continued pullback. And we'll look by the way, the long term, I know I'll get asked this, the long-term system, nowhere near a sell signal. And we could get some, but everybody's calling for, we're going to plummet now. I think we're going to get some choppier top forming patterns in even after a pullback next week. I'm still watching for some follow through to the downside. I think we're going to get some choppier stuff and then the big rollover move. What was I talking about this morning? There's just a couple things I want to cover. And I will look at OXY. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Amadeus. Double top on SMH. We'll look at that too. And I'm going to make it a shorter session. I'm still really tired. It was a doozy of a week, especially with my friggin' migraines. And they're starting to act up today with the major weather changes here. It's got warmer. Then we're supposed to have storms all weekend, and that's one of the things that triggers me. Just pointing that out. That's why I'm going to have it a little earlier. What was I talking about? Remember I said I'm going to watch this morning for a break and then a retest. Why do we watch for a retest? Especially on days like this. Because you can get, look, little break, and you see this 2 candles of pressure, but both closing back below. And we'll cover Bitcoin too real quick. Why am I watching? Because I would rather have a break and a retest and even have to get a little worse entry than to try to get sucked into a move. And if you look at this on the 1-minute chart, this was just priceless. I'm pointing this out because I want people to pay attention to this kind of price action. Where am I? Where am I? There. Here we go. What formed on the 1 minute? I don't normally stress the 1 minute, but if you want, you can generally see it just by price action on the 5 minute with those rejection candles. But if you need to really start mastering price action, if you're also trying to watch the tape and orders go off, what formed on the 1 minute? What do we get? A really nice. You couldn't hold this. You couldn't hold the move above it. All right. You know, breakdown, retest, breakdown, and then what does this trigger? A double. And I'm not trying to stress the 1 minute charts because I just glance at them occasionally at key areas. But you can see it on the 5 minute with the price rejection. Let me get back to where we were. With the price rejection, boom, boom, boom. Got this little 5 minute close at 825, then 830, 835 rejected twice, and you got that double top trigger, and then you got momentum bars. And then you took out this support, 4241. That support becomes resistance. And here's another example. All right, people sucked in again here. All right, we're going back. What, did it hold? Nope. Didn't even get a retest. Retest falling back through another sell. I put in Discord I responded to a message, I believe it was Sterling, to watch for that bounce going into European close. Got the bounce, and then that enabled me to do a little reverse harmonics. And then we got the, end of day, just little settling, squaring up positions. That's how the day unfolded. And if you look at the 15-minute, got that little move above the 15-minute rotation zone, but into lunch with that European bounce. Really, when you start seeing these kind of price actions, especially on a day that you have a lot of selling pressure that triggers in Europe, and then you get selling pressure coming through in the morning here, watch for the bounce in the European session. Because more often than not, you'll get it at the end of the European session. When they're closing down for the day, watch for that bounce, and then you can watch for the rollover play going in. And the only thing that you change is if this did form a double bottom that triggered, but it, just kept selling down until the market expired. Just want to do a little key teaching there of stuff I like to watch for. All right. Let's take a look at, all right, NASDAQ coming back into, we got a little more room. Now remember the 50% levels back at this 13,201. We came down here, pretty much found support at that this key level, this 13,238 from earlier. I'm going to be keying off that 13,202 starting Sunday night, but we'll review that. And then the pullback, you got some major support between about 13,000 and 13,100. So that's where I'll be watching for first level of bounce potential going in. And look, we could be setting up really nice, even if it doesn't get all the way down here, for a really nice head and shoulders pattern on the NASDAQ. So I will be watching. It's pretty mature now, but I will be watching for that. The S&P doesn't. It would be a very strong upward sloping unless that really tanks. I'm more interested in the S&P coming back up, forming a potential high reversal pattern back up near to 200. We could actually do a retest of that. Dow, by the way, the wedge on the Dow did not trigger. And it did not close into the rotation zone. Just got back to that 12.5% harmonic. So the Dow a long way off from triggering even that bigger pullback yet. So I'm actually fascinated to see if the Dow is going to get some support down in here, trade up, and also form a double. But did close back below the 200. I don't know. We can look at Tesla. Again, you still got the dip buyers trying to come in. Tesla still, the double top is still in play. We don't need to cover that much more right now. What else we have? Bitcoin, because it trades all weekend. Not the futures, of course, but the cash. Closing below the 50% level. Next target area is this 24.35. A close below that statistically favors a return to the 87.5. I would watch somewhere in here for a potential bounce. I am watching for a potential bounce, especially over the weekend. All right, so I would not get into super short mode just yet. It is in a little bounce area, but then I'm still playing, as you know, for the longer term bearish moves, especially once we start getting some downward acceleration in the NASDAQ. Also, daily cycles at the low. Again, weekly cycles rolling over, so we could see some interesting price action before the next major kaboom. Oxy. Again, you couldn't even play this because the move above the 62 went straight to the 87.5. This is a great area to watch for. This is where I love to use the reverse. I love to use the reverse harmonics. I'm going to watch for a slight amount of pressure coming in up here at the most recent highs, just because I wouldn't want to chase it here. We still got a little more room to the upside with the daily, but I'm going to be watching at least for a little short-term pause based off this massive move. And then if they get a nice pause up here, then there could be a nice breakout play as the targets I would utilize. 76.51 for a stop raise, 78.97. Okay. So that's what I would utilize if you're playing for the breakout plays up there on Oxy. SMH, yes, you do have that double top. It's still valid. We had it on from a couple days ago. At Amadeus. That does not trigger until a close below 226.73. Interesting enough, it closed below the daily rotation zone right here. By the way, this is not a double bottom. It's not reversing enough of a move or a potential double bottom. Next key level I'm watching on the SMHs is 231. We get back below the 50, we could start getting this substantial rollover play again. Yeah, that is a George, the Gravestone Doji. Coming up, Gravestone Doji off that 87.5% level. And from the major overbought condition, still no close in the weekly rotation zone, but I'm starting to watch for let me reverse these real quick. I'll just draw some new ones. Oh, I actually got them on here already. Sorry about that. Support coming in at 170, and then my major support I'm watching for is right around this 167 area. So that's what I'm watching for if we do keep going that low, but I don't know if you're going to get that big a pullback yet in Apple. I'm going to raise this level a bit to there. So miners coming in, really this 170 area is going to be key to start next week. That's going to be my short-term support level. And then if we break below that, I'll start watching. This is an advanced clear path on the daily with cycles rolling over. Apple's massively coming out of overbought and even massively overbought on the weekly, but we will at some point get a bounce and then probably the more substantial rollover play in there. Apple chart, I mean, that was a rocket move. That double played out super nicely. Can I look at VERU? Huh. Oh, jeez. Was it? I'd have to look, but was this another squeeze play? They've got no. You know the first thing I look at. You know the first thing I look at. You know why I look at this? Because when I see price action like this, I want to see. Because this tells me there's shorts involved, pretty much. If there's no P to E, and you've got missed earnings, and then you get this kind of movement, I know nothing about that. I'll get back to that in a second, George. If you chase this higher, hopefully you have an entry down here from after earnings, and you're not trapped up here. Based off this most recent stuff, your daily rotation zone 62.5. You start getting close below here, it's probably gonna fill this gap back down. So you gotta hope it holds in this area if you're long. If you're that looks like certainly another squeeze play to me. Ugh, sick of these things. Let me see. Apple, you big weekly. Let me zoom out. No, because of this, it's not. It is not. Too many tops. Now, if you're looking for it to play, I mean, you got a clear path move. So once Apple really starts giving up its weekly rotation zone, I'd be watching just for clear path plays. First area 150, then pretty much down to 138. I'm expecting Apple long term once we really get the recession stuff going. Apple long term, I'm expecting to come down here and reconnect with the 200 weekly long term. Long term. That's not in the next few weeks. That's longer term. VIX head and shoulders on a 1 hour chart. Again, just a couple more and then I'm calling it. Uh, nah, not with my stuff. You got this is fine, this is fine, this is, I believe, too close to the head probability wise. Let me check. And it's a horribly sloppy. No, it's technically not. But this is not a well-formed shoulder. The key thing I'd just be watching for is if you get a above this high, 2093, really 21, you start getting some momentum above there. You got the gap fill, and then we could be putting in a reversal, a little reversal. NU and BP, then that's about it. John, NU, BP, NU filling the gap. Funny thing is, if this can get a bounce back up on Monday or Tuesday, you got a aggressive percent beat buy above today's high. That's the only thing I'd be watching for, because then it would have held this key. You're sitting here at the key breakout levels. Which is an area right here. So if this does not hold, your next major level just off price action is back down to about 417. With your harmonics, yeah, look at that. You're 62.5. So this area with your 50 and that key prior resistance support and the rotation zone, gotta hold. If not, I'd be watching for this. If you get the close back below 62.5, you could see some lower price action again until oil really gets a move on. I mean, sorry, not oil. Until the NASDAQ gets a move on. Sorry, I don't know what. Brain fart there. BP. You still got the potential double in play. Right now, you're closing below here. I just watched for the continued pullback to about 30 to fill the gap with the rising rotation zone. That's your first level of support. You get a close into the rotation zone, then I'd start watching for the bigger pullback. And that would only be towards the bottom of the rotation zone. And shorter term, you have some pretty significant you got some pretty significant support right around 31. So I would, on a continued after the gap fill, I'd be watching this 31 area for a potential bounce play before then. Other than that, not much. I am tired. When I get migraines, and I got a killer one. When it hit the other day, it takes a lot out of me physically. I mean, I was literally out. It was bad for over 18 hours where I could barely function. And another one's potentially coming on. Sometimes they cluster with weather changes, so that's why I'm just it takes a lot out of me. But I am here because I want to do this anyways. So I'm going to call it a day. Let me just peek at the euro. Again, we got the, I didn't cover this yesterday. We covered it before with the into the midpoint. I was talking about the shake and bake. This is exactly what I'm talking about. And with yesterday, I don't think I covered this, but the close below 62.5. So now we favor. I know I talked about it hitting parity again. So that's what I'm watching for. But this is an ideal shake and bake play. If you're trying to learn that one, nice horizontal breakout to the upside, collapsing beyond the midpoint of this horizontal channel. Little pause, breakdown play, key close not only below the 62.5, but below the other side of the horizontal channel and making a run. So it sucked people in and then a quick reversal to the other side. So I'm watching for a retest back down here. And I think it can go below parity, but my next targets are, especially from a short perspective, it would be, stop production and or take some profits off the table back down here. And dollar index marching up that 87.5 level. So that's what we'll keep watching for. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. You have a great weekend too, everybody. I will be back on Sunday afternoon. I'll get out a sector overview at some point this weekend, so please tune in for that. And leave some comments on that pre-recorded one. And we'll go from there. NASDAQ 1 hour double. That's a triple now. That's a triple from all the work I've done. But come back on Sunday, Rich, and we'll take a closer look at it. With that, everyone have a great Friday night, a fantastic Saturday. See you all back on Sunday. Thanks for being here. Bye for now.